This hitmaker dances to the beat of his own drum, and we love him for it.
What's changed for this guy in the last 3 years alone? And the short answer is everything.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Post Malone was awesome. For this list, we're taking a look at various times that Post Malone stood out from the crowd, showcased his sense of humor, or just did something unexpected that made us smile. Number 10, his Super Bowl ad for Bud Light.
So you got Bud Light
back there.
Have you ever wanted to venture inside the mind of Post Malone? Then this is the ad for you. And wouldn't you know it, behind those bright blue eyes is a control room full of well-dressed technicians.
Bud Light made a seltzer?
Wait, Bud Light made a seltzer?
I wonder what it tastes like.
Only one way to find out.
They kind of look like the staff from the Cabin in the Woods, just covered in Post Malone's trademark tattoos. We're not sure how big of an impact Bud Light Seltzer has made on the beverage industry, but this hilarious ad certainly couldn't have hurt.
Bud Light. Seltzer. Bud Light. Seltzer. Bud Light.
We particularly appreciate Posty's commitment to physical comedy. When his brain can't decide what to get, he puts his body into it. Plus, it's just all around awesome that this Bud Light mega fan got to do an ad for his favorite company.
I'll get both. You got any pretzels?
Number 9, getting into acting.
What do you say, Spence?
Considering his comedic chops in the aforementioned ad campaign, we're not the least bit surprised that Post Malone is making the jump to acting. He's nothing if not versatile.
How you doing, Squeak? How you feeling?
I feel like a lifer.
Well, you know a lot of guys feel that way.
After blending musical genres, it only seems fair that he would similarly want to blur the line between musician and actor. And what better way to start than with a role in a major Netflix production starring Mark Wahlberg and Winston Duke. For the record, Posty technically made his big screen debut when he cameoed in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but who's counting?
Yeah, I think it's a Banksy.
The film, Spencer Confidential, has garnered mixed reviews, but fans will be sure to get a kick out of Post Malone's character, even if his screen time is limited.
I gave you one word and one word only.
Oh, better be a good word, amigo.
Wonderland.
Number 8, birthday shopping for 21 Savage. Post Malone doesn't need any help to turn a song into a hit. But if you're gonna reach out and invite another rapper to do a feature, you can't ask for a better co-conspirator than 21 Savage. In 2019, about 2 years after the release of Rockstar, Post Malone decided to treat his collaborator and friend with a swanky birthday gift, a Rolex.
This one is sick. And this one's very reasonable.
That is reasonable price.
In this video, he and Sway Lee take a break from their tour to do some shopping at Icebox in Atlanta.
The thing is that he's the type of guy that he's so picky, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would just tell you right away, get him this.
Yes, the fact that he goes all out for a friend is awesome, but what we love the most about this is how incredibly down-to-earth and polite he is. Can you say dream customer?
Thank you guys so much. Yeah,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great night, guys.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Number 7, when he kept his cool on The Breakfast Club.
State your name, soldier. Post Malone. Post Malone.
Honestly, this interview is tough to watch. Without Angela Yee to rein him in, Charlemagne the God, along with DJ Envy, absolutely grills Post Malone. From the origins of his name to his choice to have a steady girlfriend, and even loaded questions like what a white rapper can do for the Black Lives Matter movement, it's painful.
What are you doing for the Black Lives Matter movement?
What?
I don't know.
Is that a serious question?
Charlemagne even tries to get him to say the N-word.
Y'all trying to get me in trouble?
Now, you are a Caucasian rapper. You are a white rapper.
Is he?
In the face of the incessant attacks and hostility, however, Posty, who was only 20 at the time, smiles through it all and keeps his cool. Furthermore, despite his first visit being such an unpleasant one, Posty showed real class and returned to the show, where Angela began the interview with an apology.
I just have to say one thing. I just want to apologize because I wasn't here when you came up here the first time. I had to actually leave and go out of town, and it got rough.
Number 6, Post Malone nursery rhyme raps. More so than arguably any genre of music, rap is very much concerned with image and credibility. It's not enough to have bars. You've got to be seen as legit. It's for this reason that rappers with a sense of humor about themselves are a rarity. They've got a brand to protect. But here's the thing about Post Malone. Right out of the starting gate, he's always had a sense of humor about himself and a willingness to be silly. And this fact has rarely been more obvious than when he rapped nursery rhymes with the guys of Good Mythical Morning. It's just a lot of silly, good old-fashioned fun. While Rhett and Link both give it their best, they simply cannot compete with Post's performance. Number 5, breaking down his tattoos for GQ.
Justin Bieber was the guy that inspired me to get tattoos because we was in the studio and I was like, hey man, does that hurt? Because that's when I just had first met him and he was like, no.
Nothing says I'm down to earth like telling the world that Justin Bieber was your inspiration for getting tattoos. This interview is endearing from start to finish, but hearing Posty gush about the tattooed portraits of the musicians who inspire him is definitely a highlight.
Without these guys, I wouldn't be making music right now.
It's a good thing that GQ had Post back for a part 2 because he's been rather liberal with the ink over the past few years. Honestly, looking back, it's almost cute how few of them he had in the first interview. Face tattoos are pretty divisive, but as always, Post Malone is totally unself-conscious as he discusses them in this video.
I feel like the face tattoos make me interesting to look at, so where I might lack in handsomeness, I make up for in intrigue at least.
But hey, you can't say he didn't warn us about the sword on the face.
I might get a sword on my face, like a claymore, rock and roll.
Number 4, appearing on the H3 podcast.
Listen, he's frankly my favorite guest on this podcast. I think this is your 3rd time on. It's a joy, it's a privilege. Post Malone.
Hello.
This episode of the H3 podcast runs for a staggering 2 hours and 38 minutes. And as Ethan says in the opening, this is actually Post Malone's 3rd time as a guest. How many celebrities do you know who are willing to offer up that much of their time to a podcast? Not many. No wonder Ethan calls him his favorite guest.
Dude, you're big with the moms. You met with my mom too.
I'm a mom guy.
Yeah,
I love moms.
I could tell you're hit with moms.
Moms love me.
But really, what makes this video so special is that these two just come across as friends hanging out. They discuss the news, they watch YouTube videos, and generally seem to be having a good time. It's a thoroughly unfiltered conversation with a young man who, even in 2017, was well on his way to being one of the biggest names in music today.
Wow.
That we saw you too there.
Number 3, on Hot Ones. Speaking of unique interviews, no one gets a rise out of celebrity guests quite like Sean Evans. And by rise, we mean a literal rise in body temperature. As Post Malone navigates a gauntlet of increasingly spicy hot wings, he talks about everything from the role Guitar Hero played in him getting into music to getting pranked by Justin Bieber. What really stands out in this interview is Posty's unique way with words.
He did that. He's a little prankster, a little gooster gaster.
He calls Justin Bieber a gooster gaster and makes it very clear that he does not enjoy the fiery sensation in his mouth.
Post, I don't like it. Now you know what's happening. I don't like it. Now you get it.
But even when he's struggling with the heat, he's only too happy to wax poetic while evaluating fast food joints.
Chick-fil-A or Bojangles? Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, why? It's like a sit-down restaurant that is fast food.
This is easily among the best Hot Ones episodes to date. Number 2, going undercover as a record store employee. Honestly, the very first customer in this video puts it best.
What do you mean you got me already? You can't walk around with those tattoos and not
This is the disguise.
By the time he shot this hilarious little undercover operation, Post Malone had way too many tattoos to be attempting to go disguise himself. Thankfully, some of these record store patrons were apparently unfamiliar with his work, or at least his physical appearance, and that's when the fun begins. He essentially just goes around the store trash-talking his own music to anyone who will listen.
You wanna buy this? We're trying to get rid of it because it sucks.
Post Malone.
I'll give it to you half off.
It sucks?
It's so bad.
He then proceeds to describe himself as an aspiring rapper and asks random customers to help him develop everything from his lyrics to his stage name.
I'm aspiring artist, kind of like rap type stuff. I was wondering, I don't really have a name. I just wanted to help me out.
He's wonderfully self-deprecating, and the end result is pure comedy gold. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Olive Garden with Jimmy Fallon. Imagine a rapper sitting down to dinner at a restaurant. What sort of images come to mind? Chances are that you're thinking of a Michelin star establishment with a 3-month waitlist for a table and dishes with 3-digit price tags. Breadsticks probably don't fit into the picture.
To contrast, It's garlicky, it's salty, it's buttery, it's hot, and it's cold.
But hey, Posty is not your average A-list celebrity. He likes drinking Bud Light, and his favorite restaurant is Olive Garden, an Italian-American casual dining chain. Dishes average $10 to $20 a plate, and the breadsticks are bottomless.
I legally own When You Hear Your Family, and I want to transfer everything over to you.
Jimothy.
But you know what? Post Malone and Jimothy genuinely seem like they're having the meal of a lifetime. The only thing that could possibly compete, their second dinner date at medieval times.
I'm so pumped for this. Let's do it!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.